because I don't know about you, but I definitely gained some weight back over the holiday.
Did you?
Yeah. So my
Talking as if
lowest,
there was only one holiday.
that's true. That's very true. Well, it was one holiday for me. I took a lot of time off.
Did you?
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second because I have something to. Hopefully, our bosses won't listen to this episode being the very first episode back in 2021. This is season 3, everyone. Welcome to
Holy
season 3
Wow.
of the PoddiMouths podcast.
Wow.
Cheers.
And to you. I
Tink.
can't believe. Hold on. I need to let people hear the ice cubes.
Yeah, I don't have ice cubes in mine. I just have olives.
No, yours is a clear drink. It could be water for all I know.
It could be, but that would be really gross to have olives in your water.
It's true. It would.
Yeah. No, this is the end of my Hendrix gin.
Oh, very nice.
Killed it. So anyway,
I killed it.
I killed it.
Better than the other way around.
When we started the holiday, I got down to the lowest weight I've been. I know we talked about this last year.
Yep.
The lowest weight I've been since college or since
Yes.
high school, really. And I got down to 178 pounds. I weighed myself at the end of the holiday a couple of times, and I'm back up to 183. So it's not a huge swing. You know, it's within that margin of error, but still, it's a constant 183. It's not like, it's, one day it's 183, one day it's 180, blah, blah, blah. So that's my average in a 3-day span. So yes, I've gained a little weight back.
So would you say 183 constipation notwithstanding?
Yeah, I guess. Not constipation notwithstanding.
Yeah, well, if you're standing, you can't poop anyway. So,
Well, I'm pretty talented in that regard.
I
That's
did
why
not
they
know that.
invented Imodium.
That's. I guess I was talking about the actual part where you can control that.
Well, that's why they invented Imodium. You can control it.
So glad I just got back from Mexico.
Right? Well, I mean, you should have had the experience where you've needed the Imodium.
Did not.
Did you not drink any of the water? That's good.
I
Is
drank
that really still a
I
thing?
drank plenty of water. Well, it is. Absolutely it is. It just not, it depends where you go. We were at a resort, timeshare resort. And so they absolutely Americanize, if you will, all of their water.
Well, that's good.
Well, it
I
is. And
I like American water.
happily so. Some guy's trying to educate me on all this. I've been coming here. We're in Puerto Vallarta. I've been coming here for 50 years, and I got sick the first year. I remember I was 7 or something like that, and I haven't been sick since. I have become accustomed to the water. Okay, but of course he's staying in the same resort as we are. So yeah.
He's become very accustomed to that water. American water. We built a wall around that water.
I don't think the wall is around that.
Oh. I'm just so
Nicely done,
confused.
though.
Thank you.
Okay, we have so much to talk about.
We have so much. John and I haven't talked in like
No.
3 weeks.
And you know what? It's fun to record this, us catching up, because truly it's weird for us not to talk every week.
It is. It's very weird. I do the same with our buddy Matt Smolik. We talk almost every day.
Yep.
And it was weird going 2 weeks without talking to Matt or to you or anybody.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. And it's, at the end of the year, at the end of season 2, you and I just ran out of stuff to talk about. So this is really good because now we can actually fill a couple of episodes.
Yes. I remember we used to sit and yawn at each other.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you want to talk about? I don't know. What do you want to talk about?
At least it's not because I was tired of you, per se.
What do you mean per se? I know what that means.
I know you know. But do you know, Joe?
Yes. Do you know, Joe? Do you really know? So the weight loss thing. Look, what's good about you gaining 5 pounds? First of all, I mean, I can't tell, although you're wearing what looks to be a size 3X shirt right now.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Actually, it's large.
Is it?
I've had to start sizing down everything.
Yeah, I can't fit my arm in a large, so I can't even imagine what it would be like to try to stuff the rest of me in there.
Yeah, I have trouble now because I put on my work clothes, and since we've been home so much because of the pandemic,
Yeah,
because of COVID. Oh, hold on, we're getting a drink. Yeah.
Oh shit, that's good. Okay,
Yeah, it is.
Sorry, Mom.
I'm not. Since we've been home so much, I haven't gone out since I've lost so much weight to buy work clothes. So now that I've actually started traveling again, I've been wearing my normal work clothes, and my wife looks at me and goes, "You need to buy new clothes." Like, why? Why? They all fit. She's like, "Yeah, no, they don't. They're too big on you. They're too baggy. My suits are falling off. I can actually wear my suit from my wedding now, and that suit previously, probably 6-8 months ago, maybe even longer, I couldn't even button the jacket shut anymore. Yeah. Now I close it and I can wrap it around halfway.
Wow, maybe it's double-breasted.
It could be now. That's about what it is.
Good, and it's gratifying to hear your wife say that. It is, as a guy talking about, his wife giving him props. I think that's.
Oh no, that's props. There weren't props there.
There were kind of
really bad in those clothes.
Yeah, well, maybe, but at least I'm looking bad because I'm thin, not because I'm looking bad because I'm a fat ass
or old. Yeah, right, exactly.
What do you mean old? Why do you look bad when you're old?
I don't know. You tell me. It was.
I don't know. I wouldn't know. I'd have to talk to an old person.
Okay, well, we should get one of those on the podcast.
We don't have time for it. We're much too quick.
We're much too quick.
We're old.
Oh, wow.
Okay,
we're going to hell in 2021.
Tell everyone what we're drinking, because this is, whether you know it or not, you have downloaded, I hope, a happy hour.
Yes, and this is the first of the year. We have passed the new year. Yep, and it was the first day back at work for both of us. And I had actually said to my wife yesterday.
Yep.
I'd been saying it for a while, but first day back at work, that Monday, I'm done with all of the overeating and the crappy food, because we've been eating very poorly. We've had diet conversations before and types of food, and we have not been on any sort of diet. It's, feed our face with fatty, fried food with a lot of candy. So I said, we're back on our regular diet, and I'm going to stop drinking.
That was an amazing run of alliteration, though.
Thank you.
I have to tell you. You're welcome.
And I shouldn't say stop drinking. I'm just not. I'm going to drink because I've been on vacation. I've pretty much been having a cocktail every day, which I don't normally do. Mm-hmm. I usually wait for the weekends, and so I said I'm going to start doing the weekend thing. I'm going back to the way we were eating before because it made me feel really good. And nope, Sean. First day back after a week and a half off, I got to have a cocktail. I'm not going to lie.
It's only because it's our happy hour podcast.
It is. It's a happy hour podcast.
And we agreed that we were going to do it. And
and in fact, John gave me a hard time because when we first started, I didn't have a cocktail. He said, "You go down and make yourself a cocktail right now."
Because I did. And I don't want to be sitting here all alone having a cocktail.
Like I did on the last episode that we had that was a happy hour.
I don't think you were actually drinking. I think you set it aside.
I set it aside because it was empty.
Okay. Tell our listeners what you are drinking currently.
I am drinking a gin martini, a Hendrick's gin martini with 2 olives.
Hendrick's gin.
Yep. Indeed. What about you? What are you drinking?
I have, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to look at it because I don't even remember. I mean, I do remember, but I don't. Hold on. I'll explain. It is Absolute Elix, ELYX, which is a very high-end Absolute vodka version of Absolute.
Okay.
And I thought I would just try it, and I found a quote-unquote deal on it online, and ordered it before we went on vacation. And, of course, it got delivered during vacation.
Of course. That's how it always happens.
Everything. We have 2 packages over at the neighbors, and we have to get over and get them from her. She was kind enough to come and get them. But,
nice.
It snowed while we were gone. We'll talk more about that. But So on my cameras, my outside cameras, even though we were relaxing at the pool with the sun beating down on us, I was able to see that not only did it snow at our house, our condo, I could also see when the dude came to clear the driveway and the sidewalks. And I also saw when the nice lady next door's daughter came up and grabbed our packages for us, covered with snow.
Nice.
Took them to their place. So
That's nice.
Yeah. Anyway, it's good to have awesome neighbors like that. That's for sure.
It is. Yeah. There's so many stories, John. I don't even know where to start.
Well, start because you've been drinking every day. You've been eating cookies.
Well,
like
and there's a
going out of
lot
style.
more. Let's see. I sent you a Merry Christmas on Christmas Day, and you said, "How's your Christmas going?" And I said, "So far, it's been explosive." And you didn't get the joke, so I had to make you watch the news.
Yeah.
And then let's see. Finally, took the girls camping for real, and that was let's put it this way: it could have gone really well, or could have gone really poorly. The fact that when I got home, my wife encouraged me to order $500 worth of camping gear.
Wow.
Should tell you how that went. And
Wonderful.
let's see.
Did she say the number? Order $500 worth of camping gear?
We just started ordering stuff, and she's like, "I think we need this. I think we need that. I think we need this."
Okay,
and
can I guess?
It didn't ultimately cost us $500 because I used a lot of different points from different things and gift cards, and it brought it way down. But yeah, that was one of the other reasons it got so high, is because we had all of the stuff saved up that we could use to pay
awesome.
for it.
So can I guess what some of the things were that she?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. And I don't know what you have now, so I'm kind of operating at a disadvantage. But
okay, well, let me just, before you guess,
please.
We do have some things. That we just upgraded.
Okay. Do you have cots?
We have cots.
And did you upgrade the cots, or you were happy?
No, we did not.
Okay, good.
Well, okay, so that's a whole other story. So you keep think about cots, and we'll talk about cots in a little while.
I think about cots all the time. I don't, but when I'm camping and I don't have a cot, it does not go well. I've slept on the ground before in a stupid pup tent, and this was, I don't know, Michael was much younger, and oh yeah, what a shock. So was I, but still old enough not to want to sleep on the floor of a pup tent. And so we did, and we just were not well prepared and not campers really. And I ended up going to sleep in a minivan that we had.
Nice.
Instead of and I slept much better.
I bet. Well, okay. So
cots.
I guess we're going to talk about that now. I was going to put it off till later, but
no,
John,
we can't. I have travel things to talk about.
We have
You're not going to believe.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm willing. I'm able.
No, we have to go with cots first.
Yeah. Our tent is too small to fit all three cots. Our tent is actually too small to fit two cots. We could fit one cot in there. We have a 4-person tent, and it barely sleeps 2 adults, 1 child, and 2 dogs.
Yeah.
We brought the dogs with us too.
That's awesome.
So we don't take the cots. So this round trip, because we've tried to sleep on the floor before, and same with you, I don't like it. And Jen was like, "Well, if you're gonna camp, you're gonna sleep on the ground. That's how you do it." I'm like, "Okay, let's try that. Go ahead." So we brought the air mattress. Now the air mattress is about 12 years old. So before we left, we blew up the air mattress in the garage. Not in the garage, I'm sorry, in the living room, and just let it sit overnight with a whole bunch of weight on it to make sure that there weren't any holes. And there weren't. It stayed inflated the whole time. We took the air mattress. I set up the tent, put the air mattress inside. We pumped it up. We went and did our campfire cooking thing, and came back into the tent, and it was almost flat.
What?
So I'm like, it could be the cold. Let's pump it up again. So I pump it up again, and then we all go to bed. So it's 2 adults, 1 child, fitting on a queen size mattress with the dogs at our feet. And it just kept slowly deflating, and to the point where I was sitting there at one point laying on my back, and it was like a recliner. My head was up and my butt was hitting the ground and my legs were up. And then the dogs started moving, and the whole thing flattened out. So I just hit the whoosh thing, to let all the air out, and we
Well
let all
done.
the air out, and we slept on the ground. So yes,
Jen got her wish.
so Jen got her wish,
Hey,
absolutely.
do you think
And
she maybe knifed it while you were sleeping just so she could sleep on the ground? I'm just curious.
maybe. But one of the things we did order was air mats, like sleeping mats.
Yep. Oh,
Sleeping mats, so
not,
you can lay on the ground, but you
not
can also
inflatable.
use them to lay. Yeah, they're self-inflating.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So they are air.
They're air mats.
Mats. Yeah.
And they're not cold weather, but they're cool weather. So they've got a little bit of an insulation rating to them.
Okay.
And so those can either be laid on the ground, or you can stuff them in your sleeping bag, or you can put them on the cots to add a little layer of cushioning there as well.
Okay.
So that is one thing we ordered. But yeah,
there's
there's no more ground sleeping. I won that battle.
Good for you, because gosh, but if you got a bigger tent, I mean, we actually had the cots that you could put together, fold down the legs and off the ground.
Yeah, that's what we have those.
Okay.
And so, but they're really nice. They're big Coleman cots.
Yes, that's what we had too. And so as long as they are, the tent's big enough to stow them.
Yep. And that's the key, is the tent needs to be big enough. So here's the little trick, not trick. We're going to keep the tent for a while. And I kind of up in the air about what we're going to do next when it comes to camping. So we'll keep this tent. Options are, Jen's lease is up in about 6 months. So I don't know what she's going to get next. I know it's going to be an SUV. So I've proposed an SUV tent. I also, per many of our conversations, I still want to get back into a Jeep. If we get a Jeep, I would want to consider one of the roof tents. And Jen gets upset with me because she's like, why don't you want to sleep on the ground? And I said, because we live in Tennessee, because we live in the South, because my greatest fear, quite honestly, are snakes. And she's like, snakes can climb. I said, they can't climb a Jeep. And if they're going to climb up that Jeep, more power to them.
Have you ever met a bear?
I don't care about bears. Bears don't scare me that much.
No shit. Here's the thing. If you ever met a bear, like came nearby, and you would no longer be scared of snakes.
I'm sorry. Bears don't scare me nearly as much. One swipe and you're dead.
It's sort of like,
will bite you, and it takes
really.
A while. Yep.
Oh, come on! And one swipe and you're dead. And you're gonna say, "Come on, do it. Let's get it over with."
Pretty much, yeah,
Mr. Bear. I don't believe you're a big talker on a podcast. You are not much, I bet.
You don't carry
coming around your Jeep tent.
You don't carry big snake. What do they call those? The bear. It's
I don't know.
Bear spray,
I don't like what you're doing with your hand to explain it right.
Bear spray. Bear spray.
Yes.
I'm not doing bear spray. I'm doing bear spray.
I'm going to turn your camera off if you keep doing that. He's making terrible motions with his hand. It does not even represent bear spraying.
Yeah, but you've got bear spray. You don't have snake spray. I don't like snakes, period.
Do they make snake spray?
No, I don't think so. Maybe if they do, listeners, let us know in the comments.
Or you could invent it.
I could be a snake spray inventor.
I'm just saying that might be a thing.
I don't know. Anyway, back to that. So I want to sleep off the ground no matter what.
I'm with you, and that's. But she's not.
She's like, that's not real camping.
You know why? Because
we're camping out of a car. It's not real camping. You want to hike 10 miles into your campsite? That's a completely different thing, and we're going to have to buy completely different gear.
Jen is young. That's why she doesn't mind the sleeping on the ground thing. When she's
going to love to hear that. I'm going to have to make her listen to this.
Well, episode. She is. When she is your age, she is.
Yeah, in a year.
That's what I'm saying. In 1 year, exactly to the day, her back is going to hurt like heck when she gets up.
She hasn't been dancing for 30 years either.
She's going to say John was right.
Yeah.
A year from today, mark it.
A year from today. I will. So anyway, you wanted to guess some more. What else? What else?
Did you get a new, I'm just thinking, a stove?
No.
No stove. Did you
got a good stove?
Yeah, we did some cooking.
I've got a good stove.
Have you ever had a screened in tent?
No,
Um,
and nor will we ever get one.
no, really.
Yeah.
It's I'll tell you what, we did that, and I'm not a big camper, as you know, unless you count Marriott's.
That's good camping.
But that's darn good camping. I don't mind telling you. We went one time. It was a boys' bike trip, and Michael and I went, and we had our own tent and all of that. Brought cots, but there were, I think, 6 or 8 of us, and we had a great big screened-in tent, great big 12 by 16 or 20 probably. It was a nice sized tent. Had a table in it. Actually, we pitched it over a picnic table. And we did all our cooking, all our eating,
pitching tents.
playing euchre. Very funny. Like it, yeah. I've made it an art. But it was great. It was a lot of fun because everybody hung out in there, and we never had to worry about skeeters or anything. And they can be, as you know, in the upper Midwest, mosquitoes.
They're like birds.
Can be a thing.
Yes.
So anyway, not a screened in. How about lanterns?
No, we already have lanterns.
Well, yeah, I know you have some, but did you upgrade anything? Okay, fine. How about what else would you not have that you need to have now? Sleeping bags.
I'm giving you a hint. No.
Fishing poles.
No. So yes and no to sleeping bags.
Oh, wait a second. That doesn't count.
Yes, it does. So we have sleeping bags.
Okay.
Jen, for Christmas last year, bought Peyton and I sleeping bag liners that are rated to an extra 25 degrees. So to keep us warm in winter camping, our sleeping bags are 30-degree sleeping bags. Uh-huh. The liners are 25-degree liners. So we can go down to 5 degrees. Oh. Yeah, down to 5 degrees, right? Okay. She didn't buy one for herself. So we went to REI before we went camping and got her a liner, but we only got her a 5-degree liner, not a 25-degree liner.
Wow.
So she didn't get cold because it wasn't that cold, but she definitely said that's not enough. So we did order her the same liner that Peyton and I already had for our sleeping bags. So
okay,
if you want to count that yes, we did order one.
I think it does, and I think I'm correct. Have you? So let's just take a step back because
I was giving you a hint with this.
Well, yeah, you're doing
like a whip.
Like you're a priest or something, and you're throwing holy water on me. That's what it looked like to me. So he's doing a motion with his hand, like truly. Have you ever been to a Catholic church?
Chopping.
Oh, you did a hatchet.
I got a new hatchet. Okay. No, my axe is too big. I got a hatchet.
You do have a big axe. I will say that.
You have a big axe.
Oh my gosh, it's getting bigger too over the
massive
holidays.
Axe. Really? That's right. That's because you keep making me drink.
Making you. Yeah, it was really a struggle. I said, Nick, you need to have one too. I'll be right back. And he left that fast. Back upstairs with a
Can you blame me?
In his hand.
Can you blame me?
No, I already had one. That's why. Okay, so quick sip. Come on, let's go. Stir it. Do you have any left? Barely. It's barely covering the 2 olives. You need to have
I could take one olive out, and then it is covering the olive. There we go.
You know what I started to really enjoy is the cocktail onions. Oh my gosh. Anything pickled lately. I found a good pickling recipe. Not you.
Go so many places with that.
Not you pickled. I found a new pickling recipe. How to
really,
and I've done everything lately from celery, which is really good pickled. Carrots are delicious.
I love carrots.
Jalapenos. I did. Yeah. So before we left on vacation, I sliced up, we had, I think, 4 jalapenos. I sliced them all up and I put them in the pickling jar that I already had. And I had them with breakfast this morning. Pickled jalapenos. They were excellent. Really good. So anyway, yeah, pickling. Anything pickled is pretty awesome. Okay, so take a sip. You already did.
Hold on. No, I took an olive.
I'm doing sound effects. You can't because you have no ice. Oh, yeah, I guess you can.
Yeah, see? I'm good. This is
disgusting.
This is the new what is it? AMSR channel. The new PoddiMouths AMSR. Poddies SR.
We should have nicer voices if it's going to
We
be
should have
MSR.
nicer voices. Yes,
And
we
maybe
should.
we can say it more like this.
And that's exactly what it should be.
All right.
Are we turning our listeners on now?
I doubt it.
Me too. It is the PoddiMouths podcast.
Although if Steven's listening, I'm sure he's enjoying it.
Yes, I'm sure he is. I'm sure he is.
Just kidding, Steven.
So anyway,
sure you're not. Why did they call me out?
Yeah. Love you, Steven. Miss you.
We do.
Merry Christmas. And happy
Merry Christmas. I'm 5 pounds heavier.
Yeah.
Nice.
Anywho,
yes.
Yeah.
What else? What else did you get? You got the hatchet.
Got a hatchet. Yep. I got some. I have not had long underwear in a really long time, so I ordered myself a good set of long underwear.
And listeners, I'd like you to make note of that. Nick has not had long underwear in a long time.
I haven't needed it. I live in the South. But if you'll notice,
Nashville isn't really the South. Look, I got to call people out on this stuff. I have. Okay, this guy I used to work for lived in Lafayette, Indiana. Lafayette is. I'm going to tell you exactly.
I know where Lafayette, Indiana is. I have a store in Lafayette, Indiana.
I know you do, but not everyone knows.
It's in north central Indiana.
Well, but let's be clear about my point here.
It's above Indianapolis.
It is 120 miles roughly south of Chicago.
Yep.
And much less than that, probably not even 100 miles south of what I would consider to be the easternmost suburb of Chicago. So, Hammond, Indiana, it's about 100 miles south. Suddenly, Lafayette is in the South.
Okay, no, that's not it. No,
anything. You start talking with a Southern drawl. Yeah, I live in Lafayette, Indiana. That is not the South.
That's wrong. I'm sorry. I will say I have a tough time considering Kentucky South or Southern, even though there are a lot of people that will consider Kentucky Southern. But once you pass the line between Tennessee and Kentucky, you're in the South. Tennessee is South.
I can make an argument for that, I suppose, but I think mountains. So I think, Chattanooga and those are, when you have topography, that feels more like the South to me because you're getting into the
Nashville has topography.
So does Wisconsin.
Well, Memphis does not have topography. Memphis is very, very flat, but Memphis is actually further south.
But I don't count it as the South. See,
but
that's
even
where
further south than Chattanooga.
It doesn't matter. Geography doesn't matter as much as topography.
See, I know what you're not. You go into Alabama. Alabama is
Phoenix
very
in the
flat.
South. How about Phoenix?
No, that's the Southwest. That's different.
But is it the South?
It is the Southwest. It's different.
So you're just talking the Mason-Dixon line.
Yes. It's the South. It is the South. And even Kentucky, depending on where you are in Kentucky, is the South. When I think of the Bourbon Trail, I think of the South.
How about the Suburban Trail? I think of Detroit.
No, that's Detroit. Exactly. I was exactly where I was going. But anyway, we live in the South, so there really isn't that much of a need. But here's the thing. We enjoy camping in the South, and I would probably enjoy it in the North and even in Canada, further north, winter camping. We like the cold. We like bundling up. We like campfires.
Always said that, and I understand that. I don't ever want to be cold, though. I don't mind being, where you have plenty of warm weather gear. I don't mind that. I don't like it, but I don't mind it. If you are prepared for it with the right stuff, then yeah, there's an argument to be made for that.
That's the point to that. I'm for the most part prepared because I grew up doing stuff like that.
Sure.
And the only thing I don't have is long underwear. So what I did is I took, which is kind of the same thing, just not quite as tight. I took my workout clothes, which is basically the same material. I have long workout pants. I put those on, and I put one of my workout long sleeve t-shirts on, and I was perfectly comfortable in the cold.
It's all about layering and layering with the right stuff. I mean, I had
merino wool type stuff.
Right. Well, it's true. And I had, I bought some stuff for riding on the Harley,
Mhm.
because honestly, when you're in 50-degree weather, you might say, oh, I'm fine. I can wear a t-shirt and shorts and, maybe a light jacket or whatever. But when you're on a motorcycle at 50 and you're doing 70,
Yeah.
it's a whole lot. If you don't think wind chill exists, get on a
Oh,
Harley.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's crazy how much colder it gets. And
But
and
see, and to your point earlier when you were talking about the warm weather stuff, I find it a lot easier to warm up when you've got a fire, you've got your sleeping bag, you've got your liner, you've got all this stuff. I find it much easier and much more enjoyable to warm up than I do trying to find ways to cool down. So if I'm hiking or camping in the hot weather, you can't just get into your tent and climb into your sleeping bag and cool down. That might
well,
be
let
a
me
new invention, though.
let me give you this is a really good segue. Not that we're going anywhere, but it's a good segue
I'm
because
waiting.
I'm disagreeing with you.
Oh, really? Okay.
Let me give you a little different juxtaposition. I was lying by the pool, 72 degrees in Puerto Vallarta,
Mhm.
which you would think 72, not bad. Oh my gosh. If
That's
you're in the
cold in
sun,
Puerto Vallarta
well,
because
yes
it's
and no,
not humid,
but
right?
if you're in the sun, not humid, not at this time of the year. If you're in the sun, it was hot. And I mean,
Yeah.
I'm perspiring and it was warm. I was standing or sitting 10 feet from the pool. You want to cool off? You jump in the pool. If you want to warm up, you move the umbrella over and you let the sun hit you for a little bit with
Sure.
sun protection, of course. And so it's just a variation. I just don't like
Right.
to be cold. And the older I get, the less I like the cold weather
So,
and the
but
snow that goes with it.
you're talking about a drier climate. I'm talking about Tennessee in the summer. You get
Well, not
to
a drier
Tennessee in the
climate year
summer with
round.
90 degrees and 100% humidity. It's miserable. It's absolutely miserable. But you go in the middle of summer up to the boundary waters in northern Minnesota. Yeah, you have to deal with the mosquitoes, but it's not that hot. And then, yes, you do have water that you can cool off.
Okay.
But people are complaining about how hot it is, and they're still wearing long pants and long shirts.
Well, it's because they're in Minnesota.
Right. That's my
Uh,
point.
yeah, Wisconsin
But down
people
here,
traveling Wisconsin people traveling in Florida, we wear shorts and t-shirts when it's 60 and people
yes.
go, "Oh, and Florida
Yeah.
people,
Well,
Floridians are wearing
Arizona
winter
too.
coats."
My parents had a
Yeah.
place in Arizona that they would live there and they'd go in the winter, and people would think you were absolutely nuts when it was 70 degrees out and you were wearing shorts and a t-shirt because they
Well,
were bundled up.
and that's what I thought was weird about Puerto Vallarta this year was that it was it, it was plenty warm at 72 degrees. I
Mhm.
was never chilly except at nighttime. And at
Yeah.
night it would drop down to the 40s and damn, it was cold.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
my
dry cold
gosh.
is cold,
Well,
no
but it's
matter what.
not dry. It's not by normally this time of the year though. It is dry-ish, but it's not like as dry as Wisconsin is right now.
Sure.
So, it's
It's not as
however.
dry as my humor.
Your humor is delightful.
It's dry.
It's been dry
It's
before,
kinda
but
like my martini.
your martini is almost gone.
No, it's not.
Well,
You've
yeah,
got
you're
more
right.
than
So is
you.
your humor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
That was good.
welcome.
That was quick. That was
Okay,
good.
so
I
can
like
we
that.
talk? We've talked a little camping. Oh, I
Yep.
wanted to ask you one follow-up question.
Okay.
You and I, we know we've discussed RVs, and
Yes.
for our listeners who did not catch some of our first 2 years of episodes,
2 very long,
they
arduous
they were
years.
wonderful
Oh, they were
years.
wonderful. I should have thrown wonderful in. I apologize.
Long, wondrous,
Haughtiest,
arduous.
haughtiest.
They were, but they were fun, but we talked a lot about RVs and not as much about camping, but more about RVs.
Yes.
Would you guys ever consider like a pop-up camper?
We have. I want one of the, blow-up campers. Have you seen those? I can't remember the name off the top of my
Shut
head.
up.
So it's a pop-up. It's made in Australia, but they do have them here. And what you do is it's 90 seconds. You lift the top up and it lifts up. So if the hitch is here and the back end of it's here, it pops up to the side not to the back, and then you hit a button, and it just all of the pillars fill up with air, and it pops up. I'll have to look it up. It's really cool. It's something
Yeah,
I've looked at.
let's
So
post a link
I will.
On Facebook. I think that would be really good. Because I'd like to see that. That's interesting. And it brings me back to a place. I was in Florida one time with a buddy of mine. There were two bars next to each other, adjacent to each other, in Fort Lauderdale. One was called Shooters. One was Bootleggers.
Nice.
I can't believe I remember it because there was some serious drunkenness there. And it was right on the intercoastal, and people would
It's Opus campers.
I thought you were going to say, I'm going to edit this out, John. You're like, he does a hand pause sometimes to tell me.
I raised my hand. No, this would be...
It's like an SDFU. Yeah. And he was going to tell me, okay, it's Opus Campers, and I'm going to.
You're going to look it up?
Yep. Well, not look it up,
Finish
but I
your
will.
Story.
Well, I'm going to if you stop raising your hand at me.
Oh, my goodness.
OPUS?
OPUS, yes.
I'm going to come back to that. I'm not even going to look right now.
Okay. Yeah, because you'll be fast.
Shooters and Bootleggers, it's right on the intercoastal. And let me tell you, there are some impressive yachts there.
Yeah.
They often tie up these 40-foot and up yachts. And so a friend of mine, a coworker actually, he and I walked by this probably 120-foot yacht that was tied up. I'm sure I'm exaggerating, but it doesn't matter. 120-foot yacht tied up on the intercoastal outside of Shooters and Bootleggers. And not surprisingly, there were many, many attractive young women, bikini clad, in that general area because they came off that boat.
I'm interested. Okay.
And my buddy, yeah, I'm listening. And my buddy Dan he says, yeah, he said, mine kind of makes this one look small. And the girls stopped and they said, what? And he said, well, I'm serious. It takes me a while to inflate it, but it makes this one look small. And so they laughed and we bought them drinks, and then they told us to get away from them because their wealthy guy owning the 120-foot yacht was real, and apparently that wasn't inflatable.
Well, his ego probably was.
I would imagine, but again, when you have a several billion-dollar bank account, your ego apparently can be large.
See, that's what I don't understand. I have that bank account, and I'm still not going to go out and do that in my dreams.
I was just waiting for something to go with, and
anything
you stole it from me. Yeah, it was beautiful.
Thanks. Thank you.
Well, it was. So anyway, we were talking a little bit about the travel thing, and I want to touch on this before we're done today.
Yeah.
Things, oh my gosh, things are just weird in the travel world because of the COVID.
Yeah.
And I know you're reaching for your cocktail. Good. Thank you. If you aren't aware of our
drinking game,
thank you. It's simply when anyone says because of the COVID, you have to drink. It's just weird right now. We were in the airport yesterday for several hours because our flight was delayed. Flying home from Puerto Vallarta, which is about a 4-hour flight.
It's not bad.
No, it's not bad at all. Especially if you ever flown to Hawaii. From the center of the country, it's, it's 3.5 hours or 4 hours to LA, maybe 5. Mm-hmm. And then it's another 5 hours to Honolulu. And so, 10 hours. I love Hawaii, but not 10 hours to get there. It is worth it, but not unless you can stay a couple weeks. If you're there for a long weekend, like I've been before, the hell with that. I'm not doing that.
So I'm trying to look up while you're talking about it because it really captures exactly what you're saying perfectly. And let's see if I can pilot humor. I follow pilot humor. I do all the time. Here it is. I found it. Good. Okay. So can you see this? The meme?
30 minutes later, I see. Oh, yes, 6 feet apart. I know.
So
Exactly.
what
So
the
you're
meme
gonna
is,
post you'll post the meme,
I
right?
will
Okay.
post it. I'll save it so I don't
Yeah,
lose it again.
explain it though. That's
So
brilliant.
this, I put it under flying. There we go. It's on my Instagram. So anyway, so what this is, it's a meme. It's two pictures that are on top of each other. And the top one is inside of an airport terminal, and it has people that are spaced out about, looks more like 10 feet apart, but they're supposed to be 6 feet apart wearing their masks. The place is empty with the exception of those people in line. And then it says 30 minutes later, and it shows the inside of an airplane. All the seats are full. You can barely move. The flight attendant is walking sideways down the aisle trying to fit in. So it's, I'm sorry, it's hilarious.
It's a joke. It
Yeah,
really is. And
yeah,
so we were on, I won't mention the airline because, but you know what? It doesn't matter. It was American. And I have been flying them more. I used to be a Delta guy for a
uh-huh.
long time. And
Because they tie in with Marriott.
well, they do tie in with Marriott. Yeah, gosh. Well, I want to give Marriott props because they're the only ones I've really stuck with.
Yeah,
The problem I have with Delta is that every flight I take is a connection.
right.
And the closest Delta hub for me is Minneapolis, and it's not close. It's four and
Sure.
a half hours away
Yeah.
from my house by drive. Anyway, Chicago's much closer. La da da. We flew American, and they are very I almost uh, uh, pushy about the whole mask thing.
Really.
Well, so here's a quick example. We were sitting way back, row 27. We did not fly first class. We were not in upgraded seats or anything. And they were just crazily expensive. Here's the deal and you've heard me talk about my friend Matt and his awesome wife, and me and my awesome wife have traveled together for 2 or 3 years now, interrupted by my pesky stem cell surgery or stem cell change, let's say. They got rid of the old and put in the new. Other than that, though, we've traveled several years together, and it's been fun. We always have a good time. And so we're on this plane together. We're way in back, and it was really expensive. Matt and Carrie pay for the room, and as part of their timeshare, the agreement is that Lisa and I then will pay for the airfare.
Okay.
We decided to go over New Year's this year, and we thought, that will be cool, and we always do it in advance. So March of this year, I ordered these tickets because they weren't coming down in price. And if you travel domestically, it's been pretty cheap this year. The exception is if you go over New Year's. So we did, and the flights were incredibly expensive. Let's just say it was over $1,000 a person.
Ouch.
Yeah. And so my end of the bargain was not such a bargain this year. And we're way the heck in back of the plane.
Mhm.
Happily together, we managed to get to a full row to ourselves. And this flight attendant comes by. We've been wearing masks all day. We've been sitting at the airport for 4 hours
Mhm.
because the flight was delayed. My awesome wife has her face mask on because you have to.
Right.
And it's just like on the bridge of her nose, just barely at the bottom edge of her nose. And the flight attendant said, "That needs to cover your nose, ma'am."
Wow.
And so she pulls it up, and maybe, I don't know, 5 minutes later, same dude does an announcement, power hungry dude, that says, you need to wear the mask over your nose and mouth the entire time you're on this plane. And the only exception is if you are eating or drinking, and then you must be actively, I said actively eating or drinking for you to remove the mask. And
So
I'm like,
American Airlines will not be getting your business anytime
what
soon.
the hell? Well, certainly not internationally. It was ridiculous. And so whatever. Then let me just tell you what was even more ridiculous. I see what you did there.
What I do?
Suddenly his glass is full, and it's because he put water in it.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I know.
Not
Anyway,
like
but
you're
thanks
gonna
for
know the
being
difference.
honest. Thanks for being honest. So the weirdest part though was the passengers. There were, let's just say, and it's a small percentage, maybe 10% of the passengers who didn't wear a mask. They wore 2 masks. Double masking.
WTF?
I know. And what even made it worse is those that did that, they were much more likely not only to have 2 masks on, but they also had a shield on, a clear shield over their faces. So there were a couple of dudes, and let's just say they were traveling together. I won't explore that anymore. Doesn't matter. And they had double masks and the face shields. And one of the guys, I swear to you, they were identical. Again, I'm sure you are getting
I got it.
They are identical, except the one has a face shield that on the top of the face shield, it says the words face shield.
Just in case he didn't know what it was. See, and that's completely opposite from an experience I had over the weekend where we went to visit some friends who are a few miles outside of Nashville and in the small town. And they were telling me that that particular small town, that particular county is kind of still in that mode of what's COVID?
Yeah.
I don't understand. This particular family has a business, and that business is required to stay below 50% inside of their building, and people actually get angry with them, like angry with them when they say, "I'm sorry, we're at our capacity at 50%." What do you mean 50%? Yeah. So isn't it amazing that there's still that? Yeah.
That's the unfortunate part, is that it has become a political thing. And
Yeah.
I mean that regardless of which side you're on, seriously. So I actually read an interesting article on.
Are you going to go about the fight inside of was it Congress or the House of
No, but
Representatives?
let's hear it because it is
Yeah.
a political thing.
Yeah, it was the news story about, on Sunday they opened
that.
up the 117th Congress, I believe. Is it the 117th or 118th?
Yes.
Sure. And there were two people,
How is John never wrong? He never commits.
He never
Okay,
commits.
go ahead.
There are 2 Congress people who actually had a loud verbal argument over wearing a mask and not wearing a mask. That one was on Fox News, so you can look it up.
So the article I read today was about Biden stipulating that, assuming he gets into office, we'll save that for another podcast. But assuming he does, that the first 100 days of his presidency, he's going to tell patriotic Americans they have to wear a mask.
Yeah, that's going to really work well.
Yeah, because talk about unity, right? So anyway, I just find it all to be just a little bit silly. I wore the mask. I'm happy to wear the mask. If you go, I'm not happy, but I will wear the mask. If I go into a business that says you are required to wear a mask, I'm not going to fight the business. I'm fine.
Right.
If I'm going to be there and I'm fine wearing a mask. If I'm going to fly a freaking airplane for 4 hours, I will wear the mask. I can't promise I'm not going to occasionally lower it to take a deep breath, and because honestly, it gets to be a little bit overbearing when you're wearing it for 4 to 10 hours at a time, which we were.
Right.
So, but if I have to wear 2 masks and a shield and a sign that says, "Look at me, I'm wearing a face shield," I'm sorry, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely out. It has become way too political, and it's too
Way too
bad.
political. Yeah. And so Joe Rogan, and we do need to wrap it up, but Joe Rogan said that on a podcast I listened to several weeks ago because I haven't been listening to any podcasts. If everyone noticed, I didn't even post one last week.
I've heard that.
Yeah. Anyway, he was talking about people on Twitter that annoy him, and those are the people that post pictures of them wearing a mask. They're selfies of them wearing a mask. He's like, we get it. You don't need to do that. It's not.
It's virtue signaling, though. That's all it is.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what he's saying. And that's just like, you know what? I agree. I can't, I'm with you. I'll wear it where I need to wear it. I'm going to be respectful of everyone else. But it's not, for me, it's not a political thing. We do it to be safe. And if that's what makes people feel safe, then I'm 100% behind it.
You know what? And that's really well said, because well, look at me. I'm complimenting the guy who has the #1 podcast in the world. Because maybe he'll start listening to
You're
PoddiMouths.
complimenting me?
If you have another podcast I'm not aware of, I'm going to be pissed at you.
Right.
So, but the truth is, look, there are several studies that say it's safe. There are several studies that say it doesn't make it more safe. And so, look, I'm not going to guess if you buy into whatever the science, quote unquote, is, fine. I'm fine with it. So I will wear it. I will do it whether I like it or not, because I've chosen to support your business or use whatever you offer. But oh my gosh, it just becomes so weird when people are militant about it.
Mm-hmm.
And look, I've had COVID. So people say, well, that really wears off after 3 months. Bullshit.
Yeah, you don't really know.
It does not wear off. When you're immune, you're immune.
When they've been talking about SARS,
gosh,
people are still immune 15 years later.
Yeah.
Exactly. We don't know yet.
And that's just it. For anybody to say, I'm good for 3.5 months, and that's it, then I could get it all over again. Look, I have been immunocompromised for quite some time now, thanks to my awesome cancer stuff. But I'm not nervous at all about getting it again. I'm not. And so anyway, it's just one of those things that no one measures how many people have had it, have recovered, and are now immune. I'd like to know that.
I would too. It would be
that was
that's part of it. It's all
problem.
Yeah, it's all part of the political thing. And as soon as we wrap up all this political BS that we're going through right now, we'll have I still firmly believe that we will have a clear direction one way or another. I don't know what it is. I don't really care. As long as we have a clear direction.
I wish we'd wrap it up, but unfortunately we won't.
No.
It's sad, but that's okay. It's all good stuff, because
that's a whole other podcast.
PoddiMouths will continue.
It will, as long as we haven't
live on.
Exactly. As long as the First Amendment stays in place, we'll be fine.
I will say right now, I think we're in danger if the First Amendment goes down, because we are terribly naughty.
We are. That's why they call us the PoddiMouths. And on that note, if you want to be terribly naughty with us, please head up to our website at PoddiMouths.com. Check out our merch store. I am going to be changing the merch store, by the way. I haven't told John this. I am going to be changing the merch store here pretty soon. Yep, because I am following our good friend who is also available, both his merch store and his website, on our website at PoddiMouths.com, Mr. Bill Taylor.
Bill Taylor!
I'm going to be heading over to a different platform here, I think, pretty soon, because I was pretty impressed by how quickly his merch came and how easily it was to design several things on there.
Fulfillment is very important.
Yep. So I'll probably be going over there pretty soon, and but I haven't done that yet. Anyway, go up there, see our merch store. You can comment on the website. You can join our newsletter, which
you can buy face masks and like double face masks.
You can't get the face guards though.
I've never seen anyone have triple face masks. I think that's something we should start. Triple PoddiMouths.
If we see that, we know it came from the PoddiMouths podcast.
Bingo.
So anyway, everybody, head up to PoddiMouths.com. You can
Man
hit
suffocates from having 3 masks on.
Hey, if anything gets through 3 masks, you know it's nasty, like the one that's coming from California right now.
Actually, people use those instead of condoms, from what I hear.
I've heard
3
that
masks
too.
on
Yeah,
there.
3 masks better than condoms. It's a 99.999% effective. Said no one anywhere ever.
I love our happy hour podcast.
I really do too. And if you enjoy our happy hour podcast, let us know in the comments or on our social media.
More importantly, let someone else know.
Let someone else know. Let your friends know. Let your enemies know. We will make your enemies' ears bleed for 3 years in a freaking row. Folks, have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.